सभी को जय जिनेंद्र। ये बहुत हिस्टोरिकल इवेंट ऐसे मुझे लगता है। उसका रीजन ये है कि हेल्थ केयर में नासिक से बहुत मतलब सभी डॉक्टर्स लोग हैं, हेल्थ केयर की बाकी फैटर्निटी है, लेकिन स्केल अप होने का, और वो भी नासिक से इतने बड़े लेवल का स्केल अप का एक केस स्टडी है। तो शायद ये ग्लोबल केस स्टडी है, सिर्फ जैन कम्युनिटी में नहीं, जैसे डॉक्टर चोपड़ा साहब ने बताया। लेकिन सबसे पहले स्टार्ट करते हैं कि जब हम मनोज जी चोपड़ा साहब को जब सुन रहे थे, वो तो कार्डियोलॉजिस्ट है, उनको सारे हेल्थ केयर के टर्म्स पता है। लेकिन कोई जब हम ऑडियंस में सुन रहे हैं तो हमको सबसे पहले ये सवाल आता है अमित जी के लिए कि वो तो डॉक्टर नहीं है, वो तो इंजीनियर है, अमेरिका से एमबीए किया है, फिर हेल्थ केयर में उनकी एंट्री कैसे हुई। तो जहां से ये पूरी स्टोरी स्टार्ट हुई, वहीं से स्टार्ट करते हैं। अमित जी, पहला सवाल आपके लिए कि ये हेल्थ केयर में आपकी जर्नी कैसे शुरू हुई। आप तो एमबीए करने के बाद सबके लिए बताएंगे जरा डिटेल में।
Who went to America to do my international business in Canada. मी सुरुवातीपासूनच मनात होतं का हेल्थ केअर तरी करायचं. इनफॅक्ट आय रोट माय स्टेटमेंट ऑफ पर्पज. I said that I will do something in healthcare. Come back to India, considering the billion plus population country. This is one of the largest states where one could contribute. And obviously, always wanted to come back to the name homeland, come to our was one. Second, after completing international business, one, there was 9/11 that happened. That was a major event, a seismic event that occurred. The company that had offered me an opportunity in the healthcare space put it on hold indefinitely. They said, we will consider this at a later time. I had two opportunities, two options are one, come back to India and do something, or struggle in America, try and find another opportunity, another job, that too in healthcare, and try and make it happen. That's what I chose. 6 months I kept doing an internship, looked at various opportunities, and the company that told me that there was an indefinite hold, Frost and Sullivan, hired me. But that was not in California. They said, oh, you can go to San Antonio, Texas. That's where Roland, our neighbor in Houston, that's how we went in San Antonio. So moved to San Antonio and started working in the healthcare space. Really understood what healthcare is all about, what technology is all about, what medical devices are all about. And that's how this is the link, right? You start doing A and you get to B. The B for me was met with Mr. Lou, my mentor, previous boss, Mr. Yoshi Lu at Biosciences International. In fact, there was an award show, and I was giving them an award as a company of the year from Asia. And at that award show, he offered me a job. He said, why don't we go back to Asia and start our operations in Asia? I considered that, and that was my opportunity to come back to India with something that I did not. I started off as Southeast Asia country head for Biosciences International in 2007, and then grew their business in 3 years to 10x, from 0 to 10x, and the business was quite significant. That was the starting point, I guess, getting into healthcare.
अभी यहाँ पर बहुत सारे यूथ मेंबर्स भी है। ये अपना मकसद इस प्रोग्राम का ये भी है, क्योंकि जैसे डॉक्टर हरजी सुराना जो सुप्रीम कोर्ट प्रैक्टिसिंग सीनियर लॉयर है, जो जेपीएफ के चेयरमैन है, उनका ये भी मैंडेट है कि इसमें से हम कुछ टेकअवेज ले, कुछ लर्निंग्स हो। तो सबसे पहला, ये फील्ड से न होते हुए भी उन्होंने पहले ये डिसाइड किया कि हमको कौन से फील्ड में जाना है, कहाँ पर अपॉर्चुनिटीज है, और उसके बाद उन्होंने डॉट्स कनेक्ट करने शुरू किए। तो वो आप जो योजी की जो बात कर रहे हो अमित जी, जो जिनको आप फर्स्ट टाइम मिले, वो कौन थे, उनकी क्या बैकग्राउंड, उन्होंने वो जौहरी रहे होंगे क्योंकि तभी जैसा हीरा चुना। उनके बारे में थोड़ा हमको बताएंगे। उसका रीजन ये है कि यूथ के लिए ये लर्निंग है कि हाउ टू स्पॉट द राइट पर्सन हु कैन गिव अस अ ब्रेक इन आवर करियर।
Thank you. That's a fantastic question, actually. Mr. Liu Yoji is an aeronautical engineer, a Chinese Japanese. Father is Chinese, mother is Japanese, so he knew the Russian space very well. Had his own company that he started in California in North Newport Beach, and was instrumental in the healthcare space where he was running the company in America. doing manufacturing those days, I'm talking about 2000, year 2001, 2002, doing manufacturing in Asia, running it in America. So he knew how to handle the rest of the both worlds. So his advice to me was always focus on Asia as your ground, where you could manufacture, where you could scale, but always look at the Western economies where you could sell. And that's what I learned from him. Thank you.
सर अमित जी कह रहे हैं इसमें से टेक अवे ये एंटरप्रेन्योर्स के लिए और जो भी कोई अगर फैमिली हो जो डाइवर्सिफाई करना चाहते हैं ये वो सोचते हैं कि हेल्थ केयर एक बड़ा अपॉर्चुनिटी है तो अमित जी ने जैसे कहा कि वेस्टर्न वर्ल्ड कैन बी द मार्केट प्लेस लेकिन एशिया इज द सोर्स जहां पर मैन्युफैक्चरिंग हो सकता है प्रोडक्ट डेवलप हो सकते हैं सर्विस डेवलप हो सकते हैं तो ये और एक इम्पोर्टेंट टेक अवे अमित जी ने जैसे कहा तो उसके बाद क्या हुआ आपको उनकी कंपनी ने आपको एशिया हेड करके यहाँ पर अपॉइंट किया उसके पहले आप हेल्थ केयर में स्ट्रैटेजी कर रहे थे इंडिया आने के बाद के जर्नी कैसा हुआ और उसमें आपकी क्या क्या लर्निंग
Journey actually for me. I had never worked in India before. I had already started my career in America. I had gotten used to the American system, American processes. अमेरिकेमध्ये कम्फर्टेबल हो जॉब आपल्याला माहिती आहे का जॉब कसा असणार आहे काम कसं असणार आहे हाऊ यू आर गोइंग टू सेल हाऊ पीपल आर गोइंग टू रिॲक्ट भारतामध्ये आल्यानंतर यू डू हसल राईट यू जुगाड सगळीकडे काहीतरी नवीन सो फर्स्ट कपल ऑफ इयर्स वेर व्हेरी डिफिकल्ट फॉर मी आय यूज टू keep telling my wife Daksha that this is very difficult. I don't know why I chose this one, but yes, the eyes was set. I mean, I knew where I wanted to go, and that was really create something in healthcare space in medical technology, something with technological barrier. See, for young entrepreneurs, one of the most important things is find a gap. If you are able to find the gap, and if you are able to exploit the gap, then there is no looking back. But to find the gap, it takes a lot of efforts, lot of energy, and in fact, lot of homework. You need to understand the space that you are getting in. One. Second, you need to understand where the problems are, and then should articulate to find the solution. And that's what we did. When we were, as Dr. Manoj said, we knew the problems with drug-eluting stents from 2006, 2007. We knew the issues that the drug-eluting stents bring to the table. But what could be a solution? There were several technologies that came in, offered various solutions, but none of those solutions were as impactful or as articulative as what we were able to create. And that's how the journey really started.
तो अभी सवाल ये आता है कि अगर मान लीजिए कोई इसमें से हेल्थ केयर में एंट्री करना चाहे जैसे आपने भी की आपका ये फील्ड नहीं था उसके बाद आपको उस फील्ड का नॉलेज नहीं होता है स्किल्स नहीं होते उसका डेप्थ इन डेप्थ ह्यूमन एक्सपर्टीज नहीं होता है तो आपके साथ भी ऐसा हुआ होगा तो कार्डियोलॉजी फील्ड के बारे में और कोरोनरी फील्ड के बारे में आपने वो नॉलेज कैसे अक्वायर किया कैसे स्किल्स डेवलप किए कि जो बाकी लोगों के लिए भी लर्निंग हो सकता है
I mean, somebody like me coming with the medical background, it's out. I mean, I never thought that I will be in a hospital setting. That was not the objective ever. The objective was to be in the hospital setting, but from the outside. But you cannot be outside if you want to really create something. You have to really get inside and understand the crux. I spent a year in Switzerland with one of the pioneers of cardiology, Dr. Bernie Meyer, in Bern. From Geneva, I used to take a train every morning, 2 hours, get to Bern, spend the whole day with Dr. Bernie Meyer's cath lab as a spectator, just understanding how the procedures happen, and come back in the evening. Every day. That's what I did for a year, really understanding the space. That is number one. That's where I realized, yes, there is an opportunity here for everybody. Small businesses, large businesses. I mean, if somebody wants to do a smaller opportunity, they can always look at trading distribution. If anybody is looking at creating a small scale industry, yes, that can be done as well. And then obviously, if you are looking at technological innovation, you need to find the right people to work with. I always believed, and I think that I learned over the course of years during my MBA, that you have that are smarter than you. Number one, first rule, give them in and rest automatically happens. It's the way to manage people, work with them, and help them enhance their skill sets. Everything else just follows.
ये बहुत इम्पोर्टेंट है कि जब वो ऑलरेडी इस फील्ड में उतर चुके थे तो डेप्थ आने के लिए, मतलब डॉक्टर चोपड़ा जी ने भी जैसे कहा कि जो फील्ड में आना चाहते हैं उसका इन डेप्थ नॉलेज होने के लिए एक साल इन्होंने स्विट्जरलैंड रह के, और वहां पे दक्षा जी इनकी वाइफ, वो दोनों वहां पर इतना स्नो होते हुए भी रहे, वहां पर पूरा स्किल अक्वायर किया। उसके बाद क्या हुआ, जो बायो सेंसर आपका था, आपने वहां से ग्रो कैसे किया, वहां पर क्या क्या एक्टिविटीज की, उसमें कोई आपका नेटवर्क डेवलप हुआ क्या, हाउ डिड इट हेल्प यू?
This really helped me create a global network. First, you have to know who the stakeholders are. कि अपना जो फील्ड है उसमें काम करने वाले लोग, important लोग जिनका योगदान है वो कौन है? Who are those people? And in our space, those are industries, competitors, businessmen, but on top of the whole food chain, there are physicians, doctors. So started working with global physicians. Today, I can say that there are over 300 to 400 global doctors that I work extremely अपने नासिक के. I have been fortunate to learn from these key stakeholders. कि इंडस्ट्री में क्या अपॉर्चुनिटीज है, इंडस्ट्री में क्या हो सकता है, वेयर यू कैन फाइंड अ गैप एंड वेयर यू कैन expand into that gap and create a business. So that's how the journey actually started moving forward.
जैसे टू स्पॉट द अपॉर्चुनिटी, अमित जी कह रहे हैं कि अपॉर्चुनिटी स्पॉट करने के लिए उस फील्ड के जो प्रैक्टिशनर्स है, जो एक्सपर्ट्स है, उनके साथ आप बात कीजिए, उनसे डिस्कस कीजिए, उनसे समझिए कि गैप्स कहाँ पर है, अपॉर्चुनिटीज कहाँ पर है। तो आप जब बायोसेंसर्स में थे तो आपका तो वो फील्ड चल रहा था, तो कुछ एग्जांपल्स या कुछ ऐसे मीटिंग्स के बारे में आप हमको बता सकते हैं कि ये बायोसेंसर्स वाज डूइंग समथिंग एल्स, वो क्या कर रहे थे, और आपने फिर आपका जो मेड अलायंस का है वो स्पॉट कैसे किया, उसका उसके थोड़े डिटेल्स हमारे साथ आप शेयर कर सकते हैं?
Between 2012 and 2014, everybody was realizing that the drug eluting stents, current therapy for angioplasty, जैसे हार्ट अटैक आता है तो उसके लिए हम एंजियोप्लास्टी करते हैं, कार्डियक सर्जरी करते हैं. कार्डियक सर्जरी इज नाउ लास्ट रिजॉर्ट. यू डू एंजियोप्लास्टी. एंजियोप्लास्टी के लिए हम ड्रग इल्यूटिंग स्टेंट्स या स्टेंट्स यूज करते हैं, स्कैफोल्ड यूज करते हैं जो आर्टरी ओपन रखता है. That itself has its own issues over the course of several years. So somebody has to figure out a way, and there were a lot of companies that were working on this space to find an alternative, find a better solution that will address this requirement, where you don't need to have a foreign body in your body. We kept looking at this. And then by 2014, one of my partners, who is a 75-year-old scientist now, Dr. John, he came up with this concept. He said, why don't we look at something that is a balloon, does its job, gets out? All you need to do is make sure that there is adequate amount of drug with the device so that it will be effective. It took us 2 years really to find and figure out a way how do we coat a plastic and a drug together. क्योंकि ये अगर पानी की बाल्टी है, जैसे पानी की बाल्टी में से आप पानी डालते हैं, पूरा पानी गिर गया तो पानी बह जाता है, लेकिन अगर हम उसको ड्रिप लगाते हैं तो पेड़ को धीरे 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 पानी जा सकता है. इट अफेक्ट्स एंड इट improvises the tree, it benefits the tree. So how do you really create a technology or a device that will have this impact but still not stay there? So that problem took us a couple of years, and that's how the idea came in.
तो जैसे डॉक्टर चोपड़ा सर ने भी बोला था और अमित जी कह रहे हैं कि पहले स्टेंट जाता था, तो स्टेंट जाने की वजह से उसके कॉम्प्लिकेशंस होते थे, तो विदाउट स्टेंट आपने ये सोचा कि बलून कोई ड्रग का कोटिंग कर दे
Yes.
ताकि स्टेंट का यूज प्रिएम्प्ट हो जाए, मतलब स्टेंट कैन बी टोटली एलिमिनेटेड।
Totally eliminated. Exactly that's what we looked at. I mean, जैसे स्टेंट बॉडी में रहता है और फॉरेन ऑब्जेक्ट जब तक बॉडी में होता है तब तक अपना बॉडी उसको अटैक करता है. जैसे अपने को बेसिक इंजुरी होता है, अपना बॉडी उसको अटैक करना चालू करता है, एंड दैट्स व्हाट द मेम्ब्रेन गेट्स क्रिएटेड ऑन द इंजुरी. वो बॉडी का नेचुरल मैकेनिज्म है. उसको अवॉइड करने के लिए अगर कोई चीज अपना काम कर कर वापस बाहर निकल जाए, that will be the best of the solutions. And that's where the ability to create a device with drug, that
a drug delivery system. That's what we looked at, and that's what it is basically. It's a drug delivery system. It's a mechanism to deliver the drug effectively.
तो मतलब पहले स्टार्ट हुआ आप ट्रेडिशनल वे से या जो एस्टेब्लिश टेक्नोलॉजी उससे आप इंडिया में काम कर रहे थे, फिर आपने आइडेंटिफाई किया कि इससे सारे प्रॉब्लम सॉल्व नहीं हो रहे या स्टैंड से कुछ इश्यूज हो रहे हैं, उसको सॉल्व करने के लिए आप टेक्नोलॉजी खोज रहे थे। उस वक्त आपने कहा कि कोई एक सीटीओ था, टेक्नोलॉजी ऑफिसर साइंटिस्ट, उसने कुछ आइडियाज दी। तो पहली बात तो वो आदमी कौन था, वो कैसे थे, और उन्होंने फिर ये सॉल्यूशन देने के बाद फिर आपने क्या किया?
John is, I mean, he's a father figure, he's a mentor, and he's also a very good friend. I've been working with him for last 15 years now. But I must tell you, it's very, very, I mean, you all know how the scientists are, right? जो हम movies में देखते हैं, वो खड़े बाल वाले, वो weird लोग होते हैं, आधी चीजें भूल जाते हैं। आज वो फ्लाइट में जाएंगे तो कल फ्लाइट में चलेंगे नहीं। उसको simple good incidents I'll tell you. 2008 we had a meeting in China in Beijing. हम लोग सब एक दिन पहले पहुंच गए क्योंकि जेट लैग होता है. You want to be prepared for the meeting, so you usually internationally you reach one day prior. जॉन बोला नहीं, my time is very valuable, I'll reach during the day of the meeting. मीटिंग चालू हो गई, 4 घंटे हो गए, 5 घंटे हो गए, जॉन दिख ही नहीं रहा है. We were like, जॉन किधर है? So the other partner that we have, Jeff, he is an American Swiss national. उसने कोई चाइनीज लोगों से फोन करवाए. John was stuck at the immigration because he was not carrying the Chinese visa on his passport. This was not the first time he was traveling to China, by the way. This was the 20th time. But he thought as an American, मेरे को क्या जरूरत है वीजा की? अमेरिका में तो सब पहुंच जाएंगे हम लोग. And that was that was an incident that makes you realize that people, however intelligent, however smart they are, they have their own quirks and specialities. So that's how people like John, yeah.
लेकिन अभी नेक्स्ट स्टेप था कि आपको टेक्नोलॉजी में क्या करना है, वो किसी ने आपको सुझाव दिया। फिर आगे स्टेप आता है, जैसे आपने कहा कि टीम इकट्ठा करने का। तो आपके को फाउंडर्स कौन थे आपके साथ, और कौन कौन लोग थे, उनका क्या प्रोफाइल था, वो उस वक्त क्या कर रहे थे, फिर आपने कहाँ से स्टार्ट किया, जो मेड अलायंस की जो जर्नी है वो कैसे स्टार्ट?
John was actually the creator of the technology for Biosensors International. He was a chief technical officer and co-founder of Biosensors International. So that was an anchor partner that we had. The second one is Jeff, who has been in leadership positions in Fortune 50 pharmaceutical companies globally. He was the managing director of Pfizer Europe, and he was instrumental in setting up their operations in all the emerging areas. So I was in the company of right people, people who had tremendous experience, people who knew what they were looking at, what they were doing. And our skill sets were complementary. I'm the youngest of the lot, actually. One of them is 75, the second one is 63. And there I am now. Yeah.
गुड गुड, एक्सेलेंट। तो फिर ये सब एक जो फाइजर मतलब PFIZDR, राइट, जो फार्मास्यूटिकल कंपनी है,
One of the largest, the ones that created the mRNA vaccine, जो हमने अभी कोविड के जो वैक्सीन लिए हैं, जो जिसमें से फाइजर का अमेरिका का सबसे बड़ा वैक्सीन था, that was the Pfizer. That's the Pfizer.
उनके यूरोप के हेड जो थे, मैनेजिंग डायरेक्टर, वो थे आपके पार्टनर, दूसरे जो साइंटिस्ट थे और आप थे। तो मतलब सबका एरिया अलग अलग था। उसके बाद क्या हुआ, आपने फिर टीम इकट्ठी कर ली, आपको पता चल गया कि आपके पास एक टेक्नोलॉजी का आइडिया है, वो डेवलप करना है। उसके बाद मेड अलायंस का जर्नी कैसे रहा?
मेडलाइन स्टार्टेड ऑफ एज अ ग्लोबल ऑर्गेनाइजेशन. जैसे हमारा एक ऑफिस अरवाइन कैलिफोर्निया में था, है, दूसरा स्विट्जरलैंड में जहां पर जेफ बेस था, और तीसरा सिंगापुर, दैट्स वेयर वी हैड आवर सेकंड R&D सेटअप. सो मेड अलायंस हैज ऑलवेज बीन अ मल्टीनेशनल ग्लोबल काइंड ऑफ अ सेटअप. अरवाइन का जो था कैलिफोर्निया में, लॉस एंजलिस से अराउंड 45 मिनट्स इज अरवाइन. वेरी वेरी स्मॉल ऑफिस टू बिगिन विथ. Initially, when you are building up an operation, building up your setup, you are in the R&D phase, frugality is really important. It is extremely critical to conserve and manage your resources wisely. Resources cost a lot. Time is important, but at the same time, if you don't have right resources at right time, nothing works. The companies, 99% of the companies with great ideas go bankrupt. In our industry, regulatory timeframes, clinical trials, the benchmarks, they take several years. So the important part to begin with is be frugal. And that's what I think we were. The office was so small. less than 100 square feet actually, and that had office, that had the clean room where we could do the R&D work, and the chemical lab. If three of us wanted to meet, we couldn't meet in our office. We had to actually go to a nearest coffee shop to have our meetings. But those are realities of life. That's how you really start. Everybody starts from somewhere. And the sooner you realize that you need to conserve our resources and build from there, because it takes time. It takes several years to do so. And I think that we learned very quickly.
तो मतलब लर्निंग ये है कि जब आप टेक्नोलॉजी डेवलप कर रहे हो या जब आपका स्टार्टअप आप शुरू कर रहे हो, तो सबसे पहले आपको आइडेंटिफाई करना है कि उसके एक्सपर्ट्स कौन है, उनको आपके साथ जोड़ना है। सेकंड, अमित जी का दूसरा लर्निंग है कि उस वक्त आप कैश कॉन्जर्व कीजिए। फ्रुगैलिटी मतलब आप पैसा वेस्ट मत कीजिए, उस पर ध्यान देके उसका एफिशिएंट यूज कीजिए। उसके बाद क्या हुआ, व्हाट वाज द नेक्स्ट स्टेप? सो यू, क्या टेक्नोलॉजी तुरंत डेवलप हो गई या प्रोडक्ट बन गया? व्हाट हैपेंड?
Yeah, lot of things happen actually. Whenever you are making a device, it's never you wake up the next morning and you realize, okay, you have the holy grail of the devices, right? Or any solution. It doesn't happen like that. It takes several years. In our case, it took us 2 years to prove the concept and several more years to really build on it. It took us 6 years really to start the concept, work on the product, create a prototype, get it to the animal. मतलब जो animal trial बोलते हैं, humans में सबसे पहले कोई भी device use नहीं होता है. वो पहले हम जैसे laboratory में टेस्ट करते हैं वैसा animal के ऊपर टेस्ट होता है, and then finally it gets to the human. That was a 8-year process, 6-year process for us, and it took us 2 years to scale. See, scaling can be done very quickly as long as you have the right technology and the right product. But the most important part is to have the right concept and create a buzz around it. What we did was, while we were building this, 2014-15 was the time frame where we failed a lot. We knew that this device, we were unable to coat the drug on the device. It was very, very difficult. Then we learned how to coat it. Then after that, we learned how to make sure that it elutes in time. जैसा मनोज जी ने बोला कि it takes time to elute the drug. You need to make sure you have a mechanism that is repetitive. एक बार हमने बना दिया, अगली बार कैसा बनाएंगे वो? So that took us some more time to really understand. Okay, once that was done, we realized this product works. This is a game changer. This product can change the mindset and the clinical practice. आप सब लोग जानते हैं, जो टूथपेस्ट का ब्रांड हम यूज करते हैं, हम कितनी बार चेंज करते हैं उसको? पिछले 6 महीने में आप में से कितने लोगों ने चेंज किया होगा? इट्स वेरी डिफिकल्ट. द हैबिट इज ऑलरेडी देयर दैट हम कोलगेट यूज करेंगे रोज सुबह. हम लोग बाहर जाकर दूसरा टूथपेस्ट नहीं लेकर आते सडनली. सो वी नीडेड टू मेक श्योर द फिजिशियंस, द यूजर्स, द स्टेक होल्डर्स इन अवर इंडस्ट्री वेर अवेयर दैट समथिंग न्यू वाज कमिंग, and that new was so disruptive that they needed to pay attention to that. So we started building on the technology. We started building the awareness.
उसके पहले एक सवाल है कि कई बार हम स्टार्टअप शुरू करते हैं, हमको लगता है 1 साल हो गया, प्रोडक्ट बन गया, अभी इसको मार्केट में जाना चाहिए और तुरंत बेचना चाहिए, जल्दबाजी करते हैं। आप कह रहे हैं कि 6 महीने तक, सॉरी 6 सालों तक आप सिर्फ R&D कर रहे थे, प्रोडक्ट डेवलप कर रहे थे, उसको फाइन ट्यून कर रहे थे। तो ये सबके माइंड में सवाल होगा और इसका जवाब बहुत जरूरी है। उस वक्त आप एंटरप्रेन्योर्स थे, 3 4, आपके माइंड में क्या चल रहा था? क्या आपको ऐसा नहीं लगा कि ये प्रोडक्ट अगर नहीं चला, हम इतना पैसा टाइम स्पेंड कर रहे हैं, इसका अगर सक्सेस नहीं मिला तो क्या होगा? उस दौरान आपके माइंड में क्या चल रहा था और आपका फोकस क्या था, थिंकिंग क्या था, रिसोर्सेस कहाँ से आए?
Yeah, when we were building the device, it was all friends and family, right? मतलब हम तीनों were investing in the technology, in the product, in the company. We were not paying ourselves, but we were hiring the best minds. One of the engineers was actually a top 5 ranker globally in R&D in the field, in the polymer field, in the plastic polymers field. So we invested in people. We did not invest in facilities. We did not invest in ourselves. But the most important thing that we did was we invested in right, smarter people. As I always say, hire people smarter than you. Give them enough ability, enough resources, you will find a way. And that R&D took us a couple of years. Once that was going on and we knew the product is going to work, we started getting to the key stakeholders. मतलब हमने अवेयरनेस क्रिएट करना चालू किया. जैसे प्रोडक्ट है, तो हम कॉन्फ्रेंसेस में गए जहाँ पे इनोवेशन के अवार्ड्स मिले हमें, जहाँ पर फिजिशियंस के, डॉक्टरों को, या जो की टेक्नोलॉजी स्टेक होल्डर्स है अलग कंपनीज के, उनके समझ में आते गया कि दिस प्रोडक्ट रियली वर्क्स, these guys are on working something which is groundbreaking. We were between 3 to 4 years ahead of the curve. So we knew there was an inherent entry barrier. We could benefit from the entry barrier, and we started creating a buzz and awareness. अगर हम इकोसिस्टम क्रिएट करना है, जैसे कोई, जैसे सराफ बाजार है, वहां पर सबके ज्वेलरी के शोरूम्स है, अगर हमें कुछ नया क्रिएट करना है, समथिंग आउटस्टैंडिंग, समथिंग आउट ऑफ द वर्ल्ड, you need to first find a location which is 10 times more impactful than the current location, with the benefits that are probably 100 times better. In our case, we were looking at only one benefit: saving patient lives. That's it. That's the most important thing. You need to make sure your patients are better off today than they were yesterday. As long as you are able to demonstrate that, you have a solution and you have a winner.
ये हम इसमें इस इवेंट का मकसद ये भी है कि इसमें से हम कुछ फॉर्मूला डिजाइन करें कि वैल्यू क्रिएट कैसा करना है, कहाँ से स्टार्ट किया। तो अभी के ये आंसर में हमको ये मिल रहा है कि मतलब फोकस रहना चाहिए, रिसोर्सेज सही से यूज करने चाहिए, और अपना प्रोडक्ट को फाइन ट्यून करते हुए जब वो हो गया, उसके बाद जो इन्फ्लुएंसर्स है, जो ओपिनियन लीडर्स है, जो स्टेक होल्डर्स है उस इंडस्ट्री के, उनके सामने हमने अवेयरनेस और उनके साथ एक्टिविटीज करके उनको एंगेज करना चाहिए। वो होने के बाद ऐसा माना जाता है कि हेल्थ केयर इंडस्ट्री और डिवाइस इंडस्ट्री, फार्मेसी रिलेटेड प्रोडक्ट्स, दे आर हाईली रेगुलेटरी इंटेंसिव, तो उसके लिए भी काफी कॉस्ट होता है। उसके बीच में कोविड आ गया, तो कोविड के टाइम में कुछ ऐसी आपके लिए वो पॉजिटिव था या नेगेटिव था, और ओवरऑल उसके लिए रिसोर्सेस आपके लिए कम रहे, ज्यादा रहे, कैसे रहा?
Yeah, जब जब हमारा प्रोडक्ट रेडी था, by 2018, we knew that the technology is there. Now we could figure out a way to scale this technology. हमने तब तक एक्सटर्नल फंडिंग किसी से भी नहीं लिया था. It was all inside internal accruals and our own funding. 2018, there is a Japanese company that we were speaking with. Now you have to have, it's a give and take. So Japanese company, very large Japanese company, was looking at exploring possibility of having distribution rights for Japan, and we were looking at funding. So they committed 20 million in funding to us at a significant valuation. While we were having those discussions, we were also speaking with several strategics. One of the strategic company by 2020 offered us $500 million, $500 million for the company. The deal was about to be signed. On 24th of March 2020, I was about to go to America and get the deal signed. On 17th of March, President Trump had a press conference in the White House में उनका बड़ा गार्डन है, रोज गार्डन कर जहां पर वो इंपॉर्टेंट प्रेस कॉन्फ्रेंसेस करते हैं. वहां पर उन्होंने जो हेल्थ केयर इंडस्ट्री के बड़े बड़े कंपनीज है उनके सीईओज और प्रेसिडेंट्स को बुलाया. One of the chairmen was the company chairman that we were negotiating with and discussing with and about to sign. और वहां उन्होंने ये अनाउंस किया, द फर्स्ट एंड फॉरमोस्ट ऑब्जेक्टिव फॉर अमेरिका इज टू फोकस ऑन कोविड रिस्पॉन्स. जो 100 साल में एक बार होने वाली पैंडेमिक है, उसका रिस्पॉन्स इज द मोस्ट इंपॉर्टेंट थिंग, एंड एवरीथिंग एल्स इज फ्रोजन. फॉर नेक्स्ट 6 months, no deals will happen. And that was a big impact. I mean, it was that, yeah.
मतलब जस्ट सोचिए कैसा, मतलब इतनी मेहनत, 6 साल की मेहनत लगी हुई है, उसके पहले 10-15 साल लगे हुए हैं, और एक डील आ रहा है वर्थ $500 million, उनके पास ऑफर है, डील साइन होने वाला है, और प्रेसिडेंट ऑफ द यूएस मीटिंग लेके बोलते हैं कि अभी सारे रिसोर्सेस कोविड पर फोकस्ड होंगे और कोई भी दूसरी डील नहीं होगी, और जो कंपनी का इनको ऑफर आया हुआ है उसके चेयरमैन वहां बैठे हुए. इज दैट करेक्ट? दैट्स हाउ इट हैपेंड.
Yes, yes, that's exactly how it happened. 17th of March, I won't forget the date. And then 20th, 24th, I was supposed, I mean, 20th, I was going to travel, and 24th, we were going to sign. And then it all just fall, I mean, down the drain, We didn't know what to do. There was no money in the bank. We were banking on this, and we knew there was a big payday for all of us. And that payday was suddenly gone.
जो एंटरप्रेन्योर्स के लिए सबसे बड़ा लेसन है ग्रिट, कि डोंट गिव अप, मतलब जस्ट रेजिलिएंट, बी देयर एंड सर्वाइव. तो ये फेज हम और इसमें जानेंगे अमित जी आपसे कि ऐसा सिचुएशन हुआ, कंपनी में पैसा नहीं है, कोविड आया हुआ है, ट्रैवल नहीं कर पा रहे, डील लाए थे, आया भी था, चला गया या होल्ड पर चला गया, उस वक्त आपके पास फिर पैसे कहाँ से आए, आपकी कंपनी कैसे सर्वाइव हुई?
Yeah, though I mean those were really difficult times. When I call something an hurdle, this was a big one. This was a huge hurdle. We didn't have any money in the bank. We had people, R&D engineers. We had around 20 of them those days, 25 rather, and had to pay everybody. We had other expenses, had several offices. How do you move forward? But as an entrepreneur, the one thing that you learn very early in your life is problems are day to day. Problems are going to happen. You will never have solutions. All of us know this better than I do. You guys are with much more experience here. You know how it happens. Problems are there, but you have to have a plan B, sometimes the plan C, sometimes the plan Z. You have to have several plans. Some of them work, I mean, some of them work, some of them don't. So the plan B for us was there is a company, a private equity player, one of the largest actually, with $35 billion under management, 8,000 people globally, called CITIC, CITIC, CITIC. We had dealt with CITIC in one of my past organizations. So we knew them, they knew us. That's where the credibility comes in. And CITIC, we started discussing for an equity investment into our company. Now the acquisition was gone. We were going back now. We needed to scale the company. We knew we could scale it. But to scale it, you require resources. Now, the frugality is one thing, but when you are focused and you know the product works, you need to really have a blitzkrieg approach, meaning you need to go all out. You need resources for that. You need a significant amount of capital. And that's where we started talking with CITIC. CITIC ended up investing $60 million, close to 500 crore rupees in the company. That was a lifesaver for us without meeting us. We did not meet them because of COVID. It was April 2021, second wave of COVID. I was in Nasik, India, and other two people were at their residences, and everybody was operating from their home. So it was all done on phone and emails. So somebody invested 500 crore in our company without hamare se mile bina. But that happens when you build a credibility. जैसे वॉरेन बफे हमेशा बोलते हैं, it takes 20 years to build the credibility, but it takes 5 minutes to lose it all. And in our case, that really was something that we focused on. Credibility is extremely important.
ये बहुत बड़ा टेकअवे आज का कि इतने हर्डल्स आने के बाद और इतने रोड ब्लॉक्स आने के बावजूद भी, कोविड रहते हुए भी, बिना किसको मिले दे कुड मोबिलाइज सिटिक, वन ऑफ द लार्जेस्ट एशियन प्राइवेट इक्विटी फर्म, जिन्होंने 500 करोड़ इनमें इन्वेस्ट किए। दूसरा लेसन, और उसका भी अगला क्वेश्चन वही है कि आपने कहा कि आपके पास प्रोडक्ट की आइडियाज आ गई थी, प्रोटोटाइप रेडी था, आपको वो प्रूव करना था, और ब्लिट्सक्रिग, मतलब बिफोर एनीबडी एल्स, कोई दूसरा इस टेक्नोलॉजी के साथ मार्केट में उतरने के पहले आपको ये बहुत जरूरी था कि आप रैपिडली इसको ग्रो करें और स्केल अप करें और मार्केट लीडर बने। ये जर्नी कैसा रहा, इसके लिए आपने क्या क्या एफर्ट्स लिए?
So, as an entrepreneur, one thing that you always do is break down a problem into hundreds of small problems, small issues. रोज एक step climb करो, अपने आप होता है. You have to continue to do that, but it takes a lot of efforts. When you look at a large problem, no funding, nobody is there to acquire us. It's COVID going on. People are sitting at home. You are paying them when they are sitting at home. No manufacturing is going on. How do you really move forward? There are hundreds of problems here. Break them down one by one. And one of the issues that we focused on was, if you are able to get to regulatory agencies, you create a large entry barrier. In any space, regulatory, environment, or technological excellence are major barriers. Barriers का मतलब ये है कि हमें जो फॉलो कर रहे हैं उनमें और हम में कितना गैप है. अगर वो अपने से फास्ट चले गए तो वो आगे रहेंगे, हम पीछे उनको कैचअप करेंगे. अगर हम आगे जाते जाते उनके रास्ते में रोड ब्लॉक्स या बैरियर्स अपने आप क्रिएट करते जाएंगे, that is the intelligent solution. So we not only started focusing on one device, we started expanding from heart. We then looked at peripheral. जैसा डॉक्टर चोपड़ा ने अभी बोला, for the arterial venous disease, renal disease, we started looking at several. We started creating a product platform now. not only one product offering one solution, but a product that will have multiple different uses. So technology एक है, उसको 10 अलग अलग जगह पे बेचो. That's what we started working on. That was one. The second, with the CITIC funding, we looked at creating the clinical excellence. इसका मतलब जो 100 पेशेंट का क्लिनिकल ट्रायल है वो 4 लोग और रेप्लिकेट कर सकते हैं. दैट इज इजी. बट इफ यू लुक एट 3000 पेशेंट्स, now see, this is where the scale comes in. This is where the groundbreaking thinking comes in. Once you know what your vision is, then you need to figure out a way to really make it as big as you can, bigger than anybody can possibly think. जो 3000 पेशेंट का क्लिनिकल ट्रायल हमने शुरू किया, we committed $20 million for that trial. But believe me, not only one, we looked at 4. We are right now running 4 parallel clinical trials that are, I mean, we are going to invest 80 to $100 million in those clinical trials. That is going to create a groundbreaking impact. It automatically creates a barrier, and that's what helped us to create value further beyond the initial 500.
लेमैन्स टर्म में यह है कि इन्होंने कौन से लीग पर गेम खेलना है, बिजनेस लीग कौन सी जानी है, कि हम सिटी लेवल पर करना है या स्टेट लेवल पर, नेशनल या इंटरनेशनल. तो उन्होंने उनका साइज ऑफ द ड्रीम इतना बड़ा था कि उन्होंने इंटरनेशनल लेवल पर अभी लीग में शुरू कर दिया था एक्शन, कि जहां पर बाकी लोगों के पास अप्रूवल्स नहीं है, रेगुलेटरी अप्रूवल की कोई क्लिनिकल ट्रायल्स नहीं. सो इसमें हमारे लिए लर्निंग है कि अगर हमको सही प्रोडक्ट आइडिया मिलता है कोई भी फील्ड का हो, तो इमीडिएटली द डेप्थ ऑफ कन्विक्शन, उनमें कॉन्फिडेंस इतना था कि उन्होंने सारे नॉट ओनली क्लिनिकल ट्रायल्स बढ़ा दिया बट बाकी पेरिफेरल में भी अपना एक्शन चालू कर दिया. उसके बाद आपने इकोसिस्टम कैसे डेवलप किया? ये तो कॉम्प्लेक्स फील्ड है, स्कैटर्ड है, रेगुलेटर्स हर कंट्री के अलग अलग है. फिर आपने उसके लिए क्या कैसे टीम बनाई, उसका अप्रूवल्स कैसे लिया?
Yeah, when we started creating these regulatory licensing process roadmap, एक चीज जो हमने देखा कि अमेरिका दुनिया का सबसे बड़ा मार्केट है. अगर $10 billion का मार्केट है ये हेल्थ केयर कार्डियोलॉजी स्पेस, अमेरिका इज अराउंड 5 billion. So you have to have a large presence, super large presence in America. That's number one. Second, plan B. What about Asia? What about Europe? What about South America? So we created a network of people. We started working with physicians like Professor Eberhard Grube, Dr. Alex Avizet from Brazil, Dr. Chong here from Singapore. I mean, we started creating a network, started creating a fan club. जो मैं हर something that I really believe in any industry that you are, you need to create an ecosystem if you want to make it huge. An ecosystem can only get created if you have participants in that ecosystem. The early participants have to be able to walk that extra mile with you even if they don't see a real evidence. So you have to create the fan club. जैसे शाहरुख खान है, वो मन्नत के सामने खड़े हुए कि हजारों लोग उनके आजू बाजू में आते हैं देखने के लिए उनको. So that's a fan club. And it takes a while to create that aura and fan club. And that I think we started working on since 2007. We were in this space, we knew what we were doing, and we needed to really figure out the scalability. For scale, you require people around you, ecosystem.
तो अभी सबसे इंपॉर्टेंट पार्ट $1.135 बिलियन, उसके बारे में बहुत क्यूरियोसिटी है. तो आपका प्रोडक्ट बन गया, आपको कुछ सक्सेस के बेंचमार्क्स भी अचीव हो गए, फिर आपका उसके बाद आपने जो अक्वायरर ढूंढा, वो प्रोसेस कैसा रहा, उन तक आप कैसे पहुंचे, वो जर्नी कैसा था, और कुछ ट्रिविया भी बोलिए, लोगों को आप कैसे मिले, उनका मतलब वो किस टाइप के लोग थे, डिस्कशंस कैसे हुए?
वी न्यू ऑलरेडी कि ये इंडस्ट्री में दो ऑप्शंस है हमारे पास. एक तो आईपीओ, जो कि पब्लिक ऑफरिंग होता है शेयर मार्केट में, जिसके लिए आपको आपका रेवेन्यू एक लेवल तक बढ़ाना है फॉर 4 to 5 years. We are that time and then have a multi-billion IPO on the Wall Street. That was one plan. The second one, जो कोविड के बाद हमने थोड़ा सा फास्ट ट्रैक कर दिया, दैट वाज ब्राउनफील्ड. मतलब जो ऑलरेडी एग्जिस्टिंग कॉर्पोरेट है, जो हमारे इंडस्ट्री के लार्ज प्लेयर्स हैं, उनके साथ हम कैसे पार्टनरशिप करें, उनके साथ हम कैसे काम करें ताकि हमारा प्रोडक्ट, हमारी टेक्नोलॉजी जल्द से जल्द फिजिशियंस पेशेंट्स तक पहुंच सकती है, जो अल्टीमेट एम है. द अल्टीमेट एम इज टू मेक श्योर दैट यू आर एबल टू बेनिफिट द पेशेंट्स. So how do you get to do that, right? So we started exploring potential strategics. सिटिक के डील के बाद we had a backup of one of the largest private equities in the world. And when you have that kind of a private equity with you, lot of doors open, lot of doors on Wall Street and lot of doors in the corporate world we were able to open. So we started speaking with who's who in the industry. One of them was Cordis. Now Cordis is a part of Johnson and Johnson organization. नाउ आप सब लोग टाटा नमक जानते हैं, टाटा बोला कि सॉल्ट, सॉल्ट बोला कि टाटा हम बोलते हैं. जैसे कार्डियोलॉजी में जब हम कार्डियोलॉजी बोलते हैं तब कॉर्डिस बोलते हैं. दैट्स हाउ वेल नोन दैट कंपनी वाज. So we wanted to work with an organization, a company that could really elevate us, take us to a next level, not only offer us funding. Funding was not an objective anymore. So we started exploring various strategies. Cordis was one of them. We started speaking with them, talking to them. The CEO, in fact, is Iranian, Mr. Shar. He is an Iranian. So वो भी भारत के बाहर, मतलब अमेरिका के बाहर के, और I am also not an American. So we were able to really share a lot of stories that you learn in America.
तो उसके पहले ये इसमें काफी क्यूरियोसिटी है. तो कॉर्डिस जिन्होंने आपको अक्वायर किया है 1.135 बिलियन डॉलर्स में, वो कार्डियोलॉजी के किंग माने जाते हैं. उनका सीईओ जो आप कह रहे हैं, ही इज एन इरानियन अमेरिकन, इरानियन बैकग्राउंड के, ईरान के. तो उनके साथ आप पहले कैसे मिले, वो डिस्कशन कैसे हुआ, आपके साथ कौन था, ये सबके लिए बहुत क्यूरियोसिटी भी और थोड़ा लर्निंग भी होगा.
Yeah, whenever you take up a meeting with a large company with a stated objective, see, it has to be a matching of minds, right? हमने हमारा बेबी बड़ा किया है and we are going to get that baby married off somewhere. Your child is going to get married off. You want to make sure the home that he or she is going to find is proper and you are happy with that. So this is really a testing period. The first 2-3 meetings were testing. हम लोग lunch के मिले, फिर dinner के लिए मिले. Conversations. What do you think about the patients? What do you think about the solution? Not really the value. The discussions of value, the discussions of money did not come in until the bankers were involved. We did not discuss anything related to the funds at all. The whole objective was, how do you develop this technology? How do you offer better patient care? हम पेशेंट्स के लिए कैसे काम कर सकते हैं, हम उनको जैसे अपना कस्टमर है, हम अपने कस्टमर, जैसे स्टीव जॉब्स हमेशा बोलता है, कस्टमर इज द किंग. आई मीन यू हैव टू फोकस ऑन गेटिंग द बेस्ट कस्टमर एक्सपीरियंस पॉसिबल. जो द कंज्यूमर, वो जो अगर फोकस है हमारा, एंड देन द पार्टनर कम्स इन, व्हाट डू दे ब्रिंग टू द टेबल. उनका 90+ कंट्रीज में प्रेजेंस है, 16,500 हॉस्पिटल्स में वो प्रेजेंस है. तो उनके कारण हम इतने जगह पर ओवरनाइट प्रेजेंट हो सकते हैं इन ऑल कॉन्टिनेंट्स. नाउ दैट्स अ बिग अट्रैक्शन फॉर अस.
गुड. नहीं तो फिर आपके पास क्या एक यही डील था, यही डिस्कशन चल रहा था, या और कोई डील्स थे? फिर वैल्यूएशन, वो डिस्कशन कैसे हुआ? आप एक साथ कई लोगों से बात कर रहे थे या सिर्फ इन्हीं से बात कर रहे थे?
See, we knew that we were worth 500, right? 500 million. कोई ना कोई तो 500 million देने के लिए 2-3 साल पहले तैयार था, जिसके पहले हमारे पास टेक्नोलॉजी का सिर्फ प्रूफ था. Now we had clinical trials also. So we knew we were worth much more. We were speaking with several companies. The discussions were ongoing parallelly with 3 to 4 organizations. It's only 4 of us. Our CFO, CTO, Jeff, and myself, we were involved in that. So for any organization, any small startup, multitasking, working on 10 different things at a time is the key. And that's what we all were doing. With Cordis, we realized that this was a right match. Cordis was looking for a flagship device that they were willing to bet, and they were willing to invest up to $100 million in clinical trial investment alone, which is a significant amount of money, and that Cordis was willing to do. So we started discussing with them further the culture. As long as the culture matches, everything else falls in place. I firmly believe in that. Culture meaning जैसा हमारा काम करने का तरीका है, उससे सिमिलर लार्ज ऑर्गेनाइजेशन का है क्या? आर दे इन द सेम बोट एज यू आर, और आर दे थिंकिंग मून एंड यू आर ऑन मार्स? सो दैट, आई मीन, it's like marriage, right? I mean, things have to work. You have to adjust. Everybody has to adjust. But at the end of the day, you have to find that one common ground. And the common ground for us, for them and us, was the technology and getting that to the patient in a most optimum manner.
वो फिर इसका ही नेक्स्ट क्वेश्चन ये आता है कि कॉर्डिस तो इतनी बड़ी कंपनी है, उनके 16,000 हॉस्पिटल्स में उनका प्रेजेंस है, वो कार्डियोलॉजी के किंग है. आपकी कंपनी इन अ वे वाज अ स्टार्टअप इवन दो इट हैड अ पाथ ब्रेकिंग टेक्नोलॉजी. हाउ डिड दे इवेल्युएट यू, हाउ डिड दे डू द ड्यू डिलिजेंस, आपके बारे में और जानकारी उनको कैसे मिली? कुछ एनालिसिस उन्होंने किया क्या? कुछ एग्जामिन किया क्या?
350 फिजिशियंस डॉक्टर्स ग्लोबली उन्होंने कांटेक्ट किए 6 महीनों में. बिलीव मी, जैसे सुबह सुबह उठते हैं तो प्रोफेसर ग्रुपे का फोन आता है एंड ही सेज, यार वो तेरे बारे में पूछ रहे थे कल शाम को. See, the companies know what the technology is, right? Because they are doing due diligence. They had 40 technology engineers in our data room, 12 lawyers, और पूरी छानबीन, पूरा इंस्पेक्शन कि हम कुछ छिपा तो नहीं रहे हैं. ड्यू डिलिजेंस इज बेसिकली एन एक्सरसाइज टू रिड्यूस द वैल्यू ऑफ द डील. We started this deal at 975 million and we ended at 1.135. तो ये एक्चुअली उल्टा हुआ. We were able to prove that we are better than what we were saying we are worth, so you should pay us more. And the last 235 was the result of that. जो 350 physicians इंडिया में भी है, नासिक में भी है, they contacted people everywhere to really find out, does this product work, does this technology work, who are these people. Credibility does matter. So you build that credibility, you create stakeholders. Stakeholders का मतलब है people who are in your industry or outside of your industry are your well-wishers. Those well-wishers we were successfully able to create. And those physicians, those doctors, those industry counterparts, जब उन्होंने, उनके लोगों ने जब ये देखा कि these people are real, this story is real, the product works, then it was a smooth story beyond that.
ये सबके लिए जो एंटरप्रेन्योर्स है उनके लिए भी लर्निंग बहुत इंपॉर्टेंट है कि जब कोई अक्वायर करता है तो कितनी छानबीन करता है, पहले कितना ड्यू डिलिजेंस करता है, कितने रेफरेंस चेक करता है. वो दैट्स एज अ प्रोसेस है जो हम सोच रहे थे कि फॉर्मूला डेवलप करें. दिस इज एन इम्पोर्टेंट फॉर्मूला कि कोई भी अपने बारे में अगर पॉजिटिव रेफरेंस देगा दैट कैन बी मेक और ब्रेक. और इनके आई थिंक 70 to 100 million तो इनका, और $200 million ना, द वैल्यू गॉट रेज, सो विच इज एक्सेलेंट. अब अभी यहाँ पर काफी सारे लोग हैं कि कई बार उनके फैमिली में ये सोच रहे हैं कि अभी हमको अगर डाइवर्सिफाई करना है तो तो फिर कैसे करेंगे. वो सब अपॉर्चुनिटीज के बारे में बात करेंगे, लेकिन उसके पहले आपका जो डील अभी ये हुआ है इसके बाद व्हाट आर द नेक्स्ट स्टेप्स, क्योंकि आपने कहा आपके सारे बाकी को फाउंडर्स मतलब दे आर इन लिटिल सीनियर सिटीजन्स. हाउ, व्हाट इज द रोड मैप अहेड गोइंग फॉरवर्ड, क्या रोड मैप है, व्हाट विल बी योर रोल?
Thank you. Yeah, one of them is 75, the other one is 63. तो अब ऐसा है, for next few years, I guess the responsibility lies somehow on my shoulders to make sure that we are able to get this to the market, make it work. Because any large deal, a deal of this size, is a multi-year, multi-stage operation. It does not happen overnight. And in our case, it is several years, several milestones. And you want to make sure that you hit the ground running. And that's what we are working on right now.
तो अभी एक लास्ट पॉइंट बिफोर वी कम ऑन टू द अपॉर्चुनिटीज इन हेल्थ केयर और बाकी लोगों के रिलेटेड और भी क्वेश्चंस है. एज ऑफ नाउ आपका ऑर्गेनाइजेशन का साइज कैसा है, कॉर्डिस के साथ आपके डिस्कशंस कैसे, मतलब अभी यू आर अ पार्ट ऑफ कॉर्डिस नाउ, वो डिस्कशंस कैसे होते हैं, हाउ यू स्पेंड योर डे? काफी लोगों को ये लगता है कि आप इतना ट्रैवल क्यों करते हैं, कौन से कंट्रीज में आप गए, हाउ इज इट मूविंग ऑन द निटी-ग्रिटी ऑफ इट?
Yeah, we are around 200 people, Made Alliance, in 4 continents. जैसे सिंगापुर है, स्विट्जरलैंड है, जर्मनी, इन यूके एंड मैन्युफैक्चरिंग फैसिलिटी इन कैलिफोर्निया. हमारे मोस्टली इंजीनियर्स और R&D साइंटिस्ट हैं, जहां पर हमारा मैन्युफैक्चरिंग है अर्वाइन कैलिफोर्निया में. कॉर्डिस के पास 4000 लोग हैं. दे आर प्रेजेंट इन 90 प्लस कंट्रीज. सो द ऑब्वियसली द डिस्कशन इज 24/7. अगर हम सुबह 6 बजे बात करते हैं तो वो जापान से होती है, और रात को 10 बजे बात होती है तो वो ब्राजील से होती है, बिकॉज ब्राजील इज जस्ट गेटिंग स्टार्टेड देन. सो it's usually, see, a job of an entrepreneur, no weekends, no weekdays, it's 24/7. But your passion drives you. The one thing that drives you is passion. And जैसा कि आपने पूछा 25 days, simply passion. If you enjoy what you do, if you love what you do, time is just there. But at the same time, your family has to be with you as well. So my mother, my wife, we have a joint family. So all of us are there to support. Support system has to exist. That's for sure. If you want to run fast and if you want to run long, you need to have a right support system. And I'm fortunate to have that support system with me for me here in Nasik. And just one more. COVID-19 was one of the best years for us. Two years that we spent at home, that was the best time of my life. Did not get out of the house. We were in our compound all day with the family. You work very hard, but then you party hard also with the family. So it was really one of the best times of my life. So yeah.
थैंक यू। एक दूसरा इससे रिलेटेड थोड़ा अनरिलेटेड है, लेकिन आपने बात की यूरोप के बारे में, अमेरिका के बारे में, जापान के बारे में आपने कुछ बात नहीं की। तो क्या वहाँ हार्ट सर्जरीज होती है, नहीं होती है? जापान कैन बी, इज दैट अ बिग मार्केट? क्या है?
It's one of the largest markets actually, and we are expecting to get a Japanese approval by 2024. In agle 9 months, we will have our Japanese approval. One of the largest, really. The reason being, जापान वो बहुत ट्रेडिशनलिस्ट सोसाइटी है। वो सोचते हैं कि अगर हम हार्ट ओपन करते हैं, अगर हम हार्ट अपना खुलता है, तो जो सोल है दैट गोज अवे, एंड विदाउट सोल द ह्यूमन बॉडी हैज नो वैल्यू, human body is nothing, and they really believe in that. So wahan par angioplasty is the way to go. Only way to go is angioplasty. People would rather die but would undergo a cardiac surgery, and the device that we are now offering is a solution of last resort for people who have nothing else left. So Japan is one of the largest markets, and very interesting question.
तो ये भी एक टेक अवे है कि इतना डीप डोमेन नॉलेज उनको है कि जापान में अगर हार्ट खोल दिया तो अपना आत्मा चला जाएगा, ऐसे उनका कल्चरल अंडरस्टैंडिंग है। तो वो कैन बी अ बिग मार्केट एंड दे आर एंटरिंग दैट। सो आई थिंक इट बॉइल्स डाउन टू कि आप जो फील्ड में उसकी कितनी बारकाइयां आप जानते हैं, उसके हाउ मेनी नुआंसेस आर यू फेमिलियर विद, एंड हाउ कैन यू ओरिएंट योर प्रोडक्ट्स एंड सॉल्यूशंस अराउंड इट टू बी एबल टू लेवरेज दोज अपॉर्चुनिटीज। अभी यहाँ पर सब हेल्थ केयर इन जनरल, अभी सबके मतलब दे नीड सम एडवाइस और सजेशंस और विजन फ्रॉम यू कि हेल्थ केयर कितना बड़ा इंडस्ट्री है ग्लोबली, इंडिया में क्या है, आगे 10 सालों में क्या होगा, और अगर कोई एंटरप्रेन्योर बनना चाहे, डाइवर्सिफाई करना चाहे या यूथ उसमें आना चाहे, तो क्या क्या कर सकते हैं?
Yeah, healthcare is a very large opportunity. I mean, as I always said, finance and healthcare, those are the two spaces where sky is the limit. जैसे भारत में आज हेल्थ केयर इंडस्ट्री इज वर्थ 30 लाख करोड़, 360 बिलियन ऑड। इन 2025 अगले 3 साल में दैट इज गोइंग टू ग्रो टू 55 लाख करोड़ रुपीस। इमेजिन द स्केल ईयर। ये सिर्फ हम भारत की बात कर रहे हैं, not the global. We are looking at 1 billion. The world is 8 billion people. So that's how the healthcare opportunity is. It's $1 trillion opportunity any which way you look at it. In oncology, in diagnostic care, in wellness, personal and mental, there are so many opportunities. हमारे अपने नासिक में पंकज बाबू, who is working in the pharmaceutical space, in the herbal pharmaceutical space, that is $100 billion opportunity globally. 80% of the patients in the emerging world first and foremost go to herbal medicines, alternative medication. We don't think of that. 100 billion is a large one. If you look at the blood banks, the way we are looking at right now with Atul Bau's setup, with the current development in the industry, current technological developments in the IoT, Internet of Things, जैसे हम blood bag अपना है, वो blood bank inventory में है. Now here, sitting on his phone, he is aware which bag it is, when it is going to expire, where it needs to go. Not only that, with the Internet of Things and with the current technological advances that are happening, you can even match the donor with the blood sample that is on your shelves without even physically moving forward with the applications and the computer technology that is now available. So yes, technological excellences are there, and that actually creates an entry barrier. तो अगर आपके कॉम्पिटिटर को आपके मार्केट में आने के लिए it takes longer, it becomes more expensive for them basically. If somebody wants to get in, they have to acquire a company or create, and creation takes longer.
अगर एक हाइपोथेटिकल क्वेश्चन, अगर किसके पास एक रियल एस्टेट है, मतलब एक बिल्डिंग है या जगह है, 2 से 5 करोड़ रुपए अगर इन्वेस्ट करने के लिए है, और मान लीजिए ये आप ही है, तो आप वो पैसा कहाँ लगाएंगे, कहाँ इन्वेस्ट करेंगे, कैसे एंट्री करेंगे हेल्थ केयर में?
हेल्थ केयर का सबसे बड़ा एडवांटेज है, हेल्थ केयर ऑफर्स वेरियस एवेन्यूज फॉर एवरीबडी। अगर किसी को R&D करना है तो टेक्नोलॉजी क्रिएशन के लिए गैप ढूंढ सकते हैं हम। अगर किसी को 2 से 5 करोड़ की अगर आप बात कर रहे हैं तो यू आर लुकिंग एट वेरियस प्रोडक्ट्स, वेरियस डिवाइसेस। हम जब ट्रेडिंग की बात करते हैं तब हम पहले सोचते हैं फार्मास्यूटिकल, राइट, मेडिकल स्टोर या होलसेलिंग ऑफ मेडिकल। बट यू टेक अ स्टेप बियॉन्ड दैट, there are medical devices, medical technologies with over 100% margins, if not more in certain cases, that are available. All you require to do is little bit of homework, some resources, and then create the contacts. Everything else automatically follows.
और यहाँ पर बहुत सारी क्यूरियोसिटीज है, क्वेश्चंस होंगे, तो संदीप जी और सुबोध भाई, विथ योर परमिशन कैन वी ओपन टू फॉर द क्वेश्चन एंड आंसर सेशन? यस, ओके सतीश भाई, यस। सो अभी ओपन करते हैं क्वेश्चन एंड आंसर के लिए, क्योंकि एक्चुअली बहुत सारी चीजें हैं जिसमें और भी हम चर्चा कर सकते हैं, लेकिन सबको भी मौका मिलना चाहिए। तो एनीवन वांट्स टू आस्क क्वेश्चंस, यू कैन प्लीज फील फ्री टू आस्क। या चिराग जी, नहीं सॉरी, या अंकुर जी, या अंकुर, हु इज द नेशनल ट्रेजरर जी?
Hello. Thank you, sir. A lot of insights. There are a few questions, I think, which already covered, but I would like to ask few of them. You can have one answer of that. First of all, how you keep yourself grounded after such a success? That is one.
वन बाय वन लेते हैं।
So the second is uh, with this question only, ki how to face fear of failure.
Very good question. The first one is easy answer. Family keeps you grounded. Your upbringing keeps you grounded. That's it. Coming from Nasik, coming from the illustrious family that we have, it's simple.
बट
When you know there are people better than you every corner in your house, you are automatically grounded.
बट नो, उसके लिए दिस इज द टाइम टू आई थिंक रियली रिकॉग्नाइज हिज बेटर हाफ दक्षा जी एंड अमिष्का, इफ शी इज हियर, इफ यू कैन प्लीज स्टैंड अप इफ यू डोंट माइंड। ये जो भी बोल रहे हैं ये 25 दिन बाहर रहते हैं, मुझे पता है फर्स्ट हैंड, फिर भी ये हैप्पी और स्माइलिंग है। सो गिव अ बिग राउंड ऑफ अप्लॉज फॉर बोथ ऑफ देम। और धनंजय जी, दे खास पुणे से आए हुए हैं। यस, और वो उनके लिए भी एक बिग राउंड ऑफ अप्लॉज धनंजय जी सर, थैंक यू। और अमित जी का, जैसे उन्होंने कहा, क्योंकि आपका क्वेश्चन उससे रिलेटेड है कैसे ग्राउंडेड, तो हमारी चाची है अमित की मम्मी काकी जी, शी इज हियर। जबकि वो उनकी थोड़ी तबीयत थोड़ी नरम गरम है, लेकिन फिर भी वहां पर आए और सबके लिए इंस्पिरेशन है। प्लीज गिव हर अ बिग राउंड ऑफ। हमारे मतलब अमित के पापा जी पारस जी नहीं रहे, सतीश जी पारक साहब के वो बहुत अच्छे दोस्त थे, उन्होंने ही कहा कि आज वो होते तो बहुत खुश होते, क्योंकि सक्सेस तो एक बात है, लेकिन अपने फ्रेंड्स लोगों के साथ अगर ऐसी खुशी का माहौल अगर शेयर करे तो आई थिंक इट वुड हैव बीन रियली ग्रेट। थैंक यू।
Thank you.
हाउ डू यू फेस
Yeah,
So
fear of failure. See, मेरे ख्याल से ये डिफरेंस है, बिजनेसमैन एंड एंटरप्रेन्योर। Entrepreneur knows and understands, if you don't fail consistently, you don't improve consistently. I really believe in it. When we knew that, simple example, I mean real story, COVID-19 हुआ, ये सब चालू हो गया, America started a very specific rule called Defense Engagement Procurement Act. अभी इसको मेरे को इसके बारे में मालूम होने का कोई कारण नहीं है। द कंपनी दैट वी बाय वायल्स, मतलब जो ट्यूब्स होते हैं, ग्लास ट्यूब्स, जिसमें हमारा ड्रग शिप होकर हमारे पास आता है, दैट इज मेड बाय ओनली वन कंपनी फॉर दिस पर्टिकुलर स्पेसिफिकेशन कॉल्ड अवंती। नाउ दिस कंपनी वाज टोल्ड बाय प्रेसिडेंट ट्रम्प दैट आपका ये जो भी मैन्युफैक्चरिंग है, ये सिर्फ और सिर्फ आप अमेरिका के कोविड रिस्पॉन्स के लिए देंगे, फॉर फ्यूचर notice. That stopped our business overnight. whatever products that we had on the shelves, we were able to manufacture. But beyond that, dhanda thap, we had nothing else. So that taught us how do you create vertical integration. The next step that we did, find a technology, find a device that could replicate. We are now making vials in house. We are making glass vials. इतनी सादी simple चीज है, but with the regulatory licenses processes, it is extremely difficult to go through the process. We are making it in house. We are doing it in house. So yes, once you fail, you get up, then you realize that it's not that difficult. You will fail and you will get up again. But the next time you will go even higher. So
Last one. So when you were developing things, right? So first of all, what kept you motivated and how you was so patient? Nowadays, especially for young people like us, we don't have patience. We need everything, quick, fast, 10x, 20x in 1 year, 2 years time. Secondly, while developing things, were you not this is a same question of fear of failure, right? You don't have failure that somebody will compete it, or the competition will occur, and then while developing it, although you had so many entry barriers, but somebody might copy it and somebody might take it forward from us. So these are two things. Thank you so much.
no, good question. The first one I would say, it's not easy. Patience is not inherent. Everybody realizes that everybody has a limit, right? You can be patient up to a certain stage, up to a certain time frame, but beyond that it's not possible. Fine, that's okay. But you, the way I said earlier, you break down the problem into multiple small silos and you try and address those. So every small victory, every small success gives you more strength in order to fight back. It's like what you do at home, right? You learn how to walk, you learn how to run, and then you do a marathon. Simple. So that's how it works. So patience automatically comes in. That's one. And the second part of your question, the competition. If you are driving a car, they have a rear view mirror so that you don't have to look back and see who is behind you. If you consistently look back and drive, you will get into a street, or you will get into a tree, you will create an accident. Always have your eyes firmly set on what is ahead of you, but keep that eye at a level which is nobody else's vision. So your vision has to be, it's first and foremost vision, really. Your vision has to be large enough. Once you have a large vision, and once you are then focused at getting it, competition doesn't matter. Competition everybody is going to follow you. I mean, I'm telling you, there are several companies who are hot behind our back right now, but that's the way it works. You create more and more space between them and you.
आई थिंक दिस इन माय ओपिनियन ये बहुत बड़ा इंपॉर्टेंट लेसन है कि हम बिजनेस या कोई स्टार्टअप या कोई नया वेंचर चालू कर रहे हैं कि हम इतना सोच के कर रहे हैं कि हमको ये लेवल तक पहुंचना है. आई थिंक द लर्निंग व्हाट आई लर्न फ्रॉम दिस इज पहले से विजन का साइज ही इतना बड़ा है, ड्रीम का साइज ही इतना बड़ा है कि जो रास्ता हम जो नट बोल्ट या जो ब्रिक बाय ब्रिक एक्शन कर रहे हैं वो उस विजन के इन सिंक है, उसके अकॉर्डिंगली कर रहे हैं. तो शुरू में ही इनका vision I think was the main thing, that was mega scale. I think that's a differentiator. Any other questions? Yeah, please. I think we will go with the youngest one. We'll come to you, ma'am. आपके पास भी आएंगे, but आपकी एज कितनी और आपका नाम कितना है?
My name is Pandan and my age is 12. So, first of all, thank you for your awesome lecture. And my question was, which of your habits helped you to reach here?
That's a good one. I was not expecting that one. I think one habit that I think has been inculcated by my family, my uncle actually, reading. My uncle, Advocate R.B. Bohora, he has been instrumental in inculcating in all of us habit of reading. And reading really plays an extremely important role in you understanding what is happening in your surroundings. And I think that's a habit that I have apart from watching movies.
And my second question was how your childhood helped you to reach here.
That's a tough one. See, childhood prepares you for your life. Childhood, the memories, the learnings, the environment, it's nature and nurture. Nature is what we get from our parents. Nurture is all your surroundings. So that's what you learn. And when you are as a child, your surroundings. And in my case, Pethe High School, Marathi medium school. That's one of the things that keeps me grounded, by the way. So you learn from your peers, you learn from your friends, you learn from your surroundings.
आपने चाइल्डहुड की बात की, आई वांट टू ऐड समथिंग बिकॉज आई हैव नोन हिम सिंस ही वाज बोर्न. तो वो बचपन में ये मुझे एक याद है किस्सा. वो 4-5 साल का था ये, और तब हमारे घर में पेंटिंग चल रहा था. और वो पेंटर ने, इसने एक दिन पहले देखा था, ये 4 साल का था. वो पेंटर का वो जो पेंट था, वो ढकने के पहले, शाम को खत्म होने के पहले आधा था. नेक्स्ट डे सुबह ये फिर से 4 साल का लड़का देख रहा था वो पेंटर, और उसमें पेंट कम था. ये मुझे और फैमिली को सबको आके बोला कि ये पेंटर ने रात के टाइम इतना पेंट गायब हो गया, यहाँ से कैसे गया मालूम नहीं. तो ये बचपन से ही एंटरप्रेन्योरियल है, और ये काकी जी के और उसके नाना जी के जीन से और काका जी के जीन से आए हुए हैं. तो ये रेगुलर किड नहीं है, ये एक्सेप्शनल है, गिफ्टेड है. बचपन से ये बहुत एंटरप्राइजिंग है. मैम,
Thank you so much.
I think
Thank
she
you.
had a
Thank you.
question. Yeah. Then I think Sumit ji, you had, or Dinesh ji. Yeah.
Yes, I'm Mona Lisa Jain. I have a question for you that how did you convince the naysayers? Because in spite of you being an engineer, you entered the medical field. And today's parents, they find it difficult when their children tell them that I want to do something, apart from the career which I have chosen. Because in today's generation, many of the children are choosing a different field apart from what they have learned. So how did you convince the world? I'm not saying about your family, but how did you convince the world that you want to choose a medical field in spite of being an engineer?
Yes, yes. It's not an easy answer. First, you have to convince your family, no matter who they are. So when I started exploring a possibility of getting into healthcare, there are simpler ways of earning a living, right? You don't have to get into a technologically intensive, regulatory intensive field where you don't know what you are going to do next. So there were a lot of people who kept telling me that ये सीधे और easy रास्ते से भी हो सकता है. But at the end of the day, every child, and I keep telling this to my daughter also, every child finds their own passion. All as a parent we need to do is to make sure that we let them express that passion. And passion is the name of the game. If you are passionate about what you do, everything else follows. There is nothing else. It's all about passion. You make mistakes, you get up, you run, you do whatever you got to do. But if you're passionate, it happens.
There are a lot of people on Zoom call, and we'll take 1 or 2 questions from Zoom as well. There is Miss Surbisha. She is asking, how do we begin? If we want to start a journey in healthcare, how do we begin?
First and foremost, find a problem. If you are looking at an existing business, if you are looking at an existing opportunity, you are too late. If you want to get to that scale, you need to be looking at a problem that exists today, find a solution that is large enough, find a gap, and that gap has to be large enough where you are able to scale it, and scale it in a way that it will not take your lifetime to scale. So there has to be a marketplace for that. So if you are focused on that, first look at the problem, second find the gap, meaning find a solution that exists or does not exist for that problem, and then it's all about application after.
Then Surbisha again, another question. Your interactions with the doctor, she wants to know how they have been, how those interactions have been.
Very good question. Simple example, at Bombay Hospital, their boss used to be Dr. BK Goyal. Dr. BK Goyal मतलब बिरला जी के जवाई. जब मैं 2007 में इंडिया आया, Bombay Hospital is one of the largest hospitals in Bombay, right? So it's a pilgrimage. Everybody goes there, meets the people. तो गोयल साहब को मिलने के लिए गया. He's from Jodhpur. So you create the network, you create an engagement. And he is no more now, unfortunately. God bless his soul. Dr. BK Goyal was, see, you create these fan club, right? Create friends. And he's been one of them. जैसे डॉक्टर मेहता है या डॉक्टर चोपड़ा ने जैसे बोला, डॉक्टर चंद्रा, डॉक्टर मनोज हियर, these are your sounding boards. And I'm fortunate to have such global sounding boards. There are over 300 to 400 physicians I can count on my fingers and can call up, who will advise or who will give their valuable time for me personally. So that is what I mean. That's your treasure. That's your wealth, really, that you create being in the industry and being there.
We'll take one more from Zoom before we come here. Then there is Mr. Priyanshu Jain. He has completed his PhD in nanobiotechnology from Deakin University, Australia. His question is, how do you handle competition?
Yeah, competition is always going to be there. There is 8 billion people on this planet. If you are thinking of an idea, believe me, millions of people have thought about that idea before you even start thinking about it. The devil is in execution. If you execute better than the person right next to you, competition does not matter. Competition is always going to be there, it's everywhere. But how do you differentiate yourself? And differentiation is all about execution. If you execute it on a timely, resource impactful manner, nothing else matters.
And Mr. Maulik Komat joining in from Zoom. He is saying, did you have an irrational compulsion to keep pushing yourself, or you were highly motivated?
Motivation, I guess. When you are in Singapore, there is a physician called Dr. Tang. He operates at one of the largest hospitals in Singapore, Singapore General Hospital. When we were offering him our device, we were looking at it above the knee, the treatment. The doctor came back one day and said, Amit, why don't you look at this device below the knee? उसने मेरे को दिखाया कि मेरे 4 पेशेंट के लिए मैंने आपका डिवाइस यूज किया है. वो पेशेंट व्हील चेयर पर बैठकर आए and they were walking home with the below the knee treatment. Why are you not exploring a possibility of applying your technology, your product for this treatment therapy? When you hear such things and when you are really impacting the patient, when you are really impacting the consumer, automatically it becomes motivation. Then it's 24/7 motivation.
I think this deserves a round of applause. मतलब इनका product without their knowledge were being used by the doctors in some treatment they had not thought about. So which was amazing. That speaks the power of the technology they have created.
Now we are running a clinical trial, by the way, in BTK. We have a IDE for FDA in BTK, and it's a $300 million opportunity that we were not aware of. That's another thing an entrepreneur does. You find the gap, you realize that somebody else has told you where the gap is, you jump on it and you make it happen. You grab the opportunity.
Perfect, brilliant. I think, yeah, Sumit ji happens to be his classmate as well, right? Sumit ji? Sorry, Samir ji. Samir ji, आप इनके classmate भी हैं
Hello.
क्या?
Yeah. Thank you, Amit. Thank you, Ajay ji. So it was really a wonderful listening. अमित जी को मैं बचपन से जानता हूँ, हम लोग साथ में एक ही स्कूल में पढ़े. उनका जर्नी इंजीनियरिंग तक तो काफी अच्छे से देखा. उसके बाद का जो भी आपका जर्नी था, जो भी एंटरप्रेन्योरियल आपका जर्नी था, इट वाज रियली गुज बम्स. आंख पे रोंगटे खड़े हो गए. सो आपके ये सारे स्पीच में एक सुना मैंने एक वर्ड जो आपने कहा कि आपका गुडविल या फिर आपको एक कुछ अच्छे रेफरल्स जो मिले जिसके वजह से आपका क्रेडिट बढ़ा. So can you just throw on light on that? Because before this session we had a very good session on JBN. जो orientation था उसमें भी हमारा एक main motto है, that is referral business. So do you think the reference gives you even though you have a good product, use a good service, the reference gives you more value, add more value to your business?
Definitely. I think if you are creating your own branding, एडवर्टाइज कर आपको जितना ब्रांडिंग करने को मिलेगा उससे 1000 गुना ब्रांडिंग credibility will give you. And credibility is consistently delivering on your promises. In our case, delivering consistently on the product. Jesse Biosys International, Frost and Sullivan, all those ventures, right? Consistently delivering on what you are committing. If you are able to deliver on your commitment, and Satishji will attest to this, he's been delivering before time on most of his commitments, and that's where the referral base gets generated. And that referral base brings you to a next level automatically. But yes, it's all about creating the network and then ultimately using that network for your own growth while you are helping everybody else around you grow as well.
Sandeep, where Aina? Some more questions? Subodh bhai? Yeah, okay. So, yeah, please go ahead. Yeah. If you can, yeah, Gaurav, you also will come. If you can please introduce yourself and then the question, please. Can we hand over the mic? कुणाल, उसके बाद यहाँ पर है, उसके बाद यहाँ पर गौरव जी की. Yeah, please go ahead.
Hello, good morning. I'm Khushbu Chopra. I have a question for you. Do you have any professional regrets? If yes, would you like to mention some?
Wow. Regrets, professional regrets, I don't think so. Professional regrets, see,
Just one second. Are you referring to him not practicing as an engineer? That's what you mean, or?
No, anything like in this journey of 20 plus years, whatever decisions he made, was there some, when he reflects back, is there something he feels that could have done better or?
Okay,
mistakes, I call them mistakes. So plenty of them every day, every minute. And I think everybody makes mistakes. The sooner we admit to those mistakes and the sooner we figure out a way to correct them, we become better, not only as ourselves, but our surroundings as well. So yes, lots of them.
Is there any one particular mistake that you would like to highlight today, which could be a learning point?
Yes, we lost initial 1 year where we thought we found the gap. We in fact were looking at a drug eluting stent that had a better radial markers, meaning एंजियोप्लास्टी करते टाइम वो ज्यादा जल्दी विजिबल होगा. ये हमने टेक्नोलॉजी डिफाइन किया और वो टेक्नोलॉजी के ऊपर काम किया. We invested $1.5 million of our own personal money, and after a year and a half we realized that this is not a game changer. So not the amount of money we lost, but the time, 1.5 years. But these mistakes are the way they help you grow.
You know, I have something to add. He is a perfectionist. अभी ये जो वीडियो है ना, जो संदीप जी और जीतो मीटिंग में हुआ, इनको करीब 4 या 5 घंटे मिले. इन्होंने वर्ल्ड वाइड सारे ऑफिसेस से कोऑर्डिनेट करके जो वीडियो आज हमने देखा वो बनाया. So and then he saw it multiple times. He found 7-8 errors in it. The whole night he was working on it just to make sure it was right. So he's a perfectionist. I think that's one of the secret mantra for him.
Thank you.
Yeah, Gaurav ji. Gaurav Mandlecha, bits, Tilani, go ahead.
Mr. Bohra, thank you so much for sharing your thoughts. I have a nuanced question for you. You are developing this technology, which is tough, so it has its own gestation cycle, right? But you said in parallel, you are also building a fan club, sort of networking with all players in the ecosystem to develop it, right? How do you time it? Because there is no certainty to when this will get developed. At the same time, you're building and hyping it up, but that hype has like, a particular time frame, right? So how do you time that? And because there's an added layer of all of you being experts, right? All your three partners, there is that reputational risk that, hey, we are experts, we are building this. So what's that? How do you time it? Because it's time bound in some sense, right?
He is also, by the way, he's an investor, angel, and venture capitalist also. So I think this question has a lot of relevance.
Of course. See, first and foremost, forget the reputation. Reputation does not matter. Reputation is only about something that you have done in the past, not something that you are going to do in future. Anybody that is putting money into your company, your venture, is looking for future, not for what you achieved in past. So reputation we were never worried about, number one. Second, when you are creating a product and technology, you realize very early on कि अपना यूएसपी क्या है, हमारा प्रोडक्ट का डिफरेंशिएटर क्या है, हमारा प्रोडक्ट हम कैसे अलग कर रहे हैं. Once you know that, then you find the right audience for it. You don't go, let's say, अगर प्रोडक्ट हम बना रहे हैं जलगांव में, तो हम अमेरिका जाकर उसका हाइप नहीं करेंगे आज, हम उसका हाइप करेंगे जहां पे अनार बिकते हैं वो एरिया में. So we started creating a fan base in that surrounding, in the space that we were in. And then rest is word of mouth. And as I said before, credibility plays one of the most important roles in anything and everything you do. So when the industry, when your peers, when your stakeholders, and when your shareholders are aware that you deliver consistently, आपका रोड मैप सक्सेस का, पास्ट का अगर क्लियर है, and your message has to be crisp. If your messaging is not crisp, nothing else works. अगर हम बाजार में जाते हैं, उनको बेचते हैं, हम सोना भी बेचते हैं और हम चावल भी बेचते हैं. It's a difficult situation. You have to be very clear and crisp, and I think that's what we were.
Thank you so much.
Yeah. तो माइक्रोफोन अगर पीछे देंगे. यस, पहले आपका नाम बोलना और फिर क्वेश्चन. एनीवन एल्स आफ्टर दैट? तो हम माइक. ओके.
Jai Jayendra, Shrenik Sabadra is my name. So, like you do the R&D, many companies must be doing the same R&D, right? What would have you done if another company would have launched the same project, the project you launched? What would have you done in
Good
that
question.
case?
जैसा हम काम कर रहे हैं, वैसे actually there are 3 more companies that have similar products in working. One of them has already developed a similar technology 3 years before we could. But as I said, the devil is in the execution. R&D हर कोई कर लेता है. There are millions of people here who know how to build. They can build a Taj Mahal, but to really execute it and build it is about execution. And I think that's what we do better than most of the people.
Yes, thank you.
मनीष जी कोठारी, फिर हम आपके पास आते हैं. एक माइक्रोफोन वहां देंगे. उसके पहले मनीष जी कोठारी आई थिंक कल ही चुने गए ऑल ओवर इंडिया इंस्टीट्यूट ऑफ इंजीनियर्स के नेशनल, योर फादर आई थिंक, ओके, नेशनल वाइस प्रेसिडेंट. प्लीज कन्वे आवर कांग्रेचुलेशंस टू हिम.
Hi, Amit. Good afternoon. I know that you are a very much smart entrepreneur, no doubt because you are a Bohra and son of Paras uncle, whom I have worked a lot and spent a lot of time. Bit selfish question it is for the Nasikites, as Samir was telling, and Khushbu was also pointing out, that connecting people and connecting the ventures. So I'll be asking one basic question regarding Nasik. What are your future plans about a venture in Nasik? Because Nasik ecosystem is developing for the healthcare system throughout India. It might be a leading now because there are 3 ventures which are very big coming in healthcare. One is in this Reliance is there, Clutch is there, and one is in 200 acres. The name I cannot disclose now here. So if you can start your venture somewhere in Nasik, it will be helpful to our community as well as the Nasikites, as you are basically a Nasikite. Thank you.
Thank you, Manish. We in fact are exploring India as well. Obviously, India is not an R&D destination. India is a manufacturing destination. We are, by the way, a PLI company, productivity linked incentive by Ministry of Health and Pharmaceuticals. There are 8 companies in the medtech space that have been awarded PLI, and we are one of them. So yes, there are large plans for India as well. We are also a vibrant Gujarat company, by the way. When our current Prime Minister Narendra Modi were in Gujarat, he actually signed off, and I was there when we were. I was another signatory actually on the Vibrant Gujarat 2007. As soon as I came to India, so the plans were always to develop and build something in India, and hopefully it will be a reality. Hopefully Nasik itself. Thank you.
Yeah, I think यहाँ पर माइक आप उधर देंगे. आपको भी.
Good afternoon, sir. Thanks for some wonderful insights.
Your name first.
I am CA Vipul Bhandari. Sir, internationally, about the Indians, there has been a mixed review. Some has been really good, some has been really bad. So, how did you overcome the roadblock, particularly in the service sector? And my second question is, Can you elaborate your story a bit from 0 to 1? Pehla customer click karna is, I believe, is always the toughest when you bring something new in the market. 1 to 100 is comparatively an easier story, but 0 to 1 के ऊपर आप थोड़ा बोल सकोगे क्या?
Yeah, good question. Two really diverse questions. The first one about India and Indians. अब वो कुछ बैरियर नहीं रहा. अब लोग ये नहीं सोचते कि आप भारत से हैं या आप जापान से हैं या आप चिली से हैं. Believe me, मैं 70 countries में काम कर चुका हूँ over the course of last 20-25 years. From South America to North America to weirdest possible regions. भारत के लिए लोगों के मन में रिस्पेक्ट ही है. जब हम उनको बोलते हैं वी आर वेजिटेरियंस, टीटोटलर्स, नॉन अल्कोहलिक्स, they understand and they value that, they realize that. See, there are various religious aspects to the whole story, but at the same time Indians is another one. We are billion plus. तो ऐसा कोई भी देश नहीं है कि जहां पे मेरे को भारतीय खाना या भारतीय लोग ना मिले हो. You always find them. So that's the first one. The second one is very interesting. When you create the product and when you're confident of your product, you get to your customer and you try and find the lowest hanging fruit. सबसे easy customer, सबसे quick customer हमेशा हमारे friends and family होते हैं. जब हम इंश्योरेंस बेचते हैं तब इंश्योरेंस वाले भैया भी अपने को बताएंगे कि सबसे पहले आप अपने फ्रेंड्स और फैमिली को बेचते हैं, then you go to others, right? You are telling them they are going to make money when they are dead. So find friends and family. Everybody does it, and that's the only way to do it quickly. Number one. Second, do it yourself. Do not delegate it to anybody else. When you have a product prototype ready, go out there and sell it yourself. Then you realize the true value of your technology, your product. आपके बैग में क्या है, उसका real value आपको पता चलता है, वो रेती है या सोना है. So
Thank you. Yeah. Think teacher. We'll be quick. We'll just take a few. Yeah. We'll come to you and then we'll be quick. Yeah. We'll come to you, Ankita ji. Yeah. So I think microphone हमारे पास दो है ना.
Hello.
Someone else? एक तिकडे त्या बाजूला. Please go ahead.
Hello, myself Amol Bohora. I had a question. Like, we are at such a young age myself that finding partners and founders and the right people to work with is very crucial. You, on the other hand, have such great partners with such varied age differences. So my question is basically how a person, or what qualities a person should look for to find the perfect team or the partners which can help you in the longer run, not in the shorter run. And also, if there are some defects, how can you overcome them with partners?
good question, Amol. See, finding a partner is like finding a life partner. It is as complicated and as difficult as that. But finding a partner is also something where you have to match what complementary skills the other person is bringing to the table. You do not want to be working with somebody who is bringing exactly the same set of skills to the table. You want to be working with, just say, one of our partners is a technology officer, he's a globally renowned scientist. That is irreplaceable partnership. Somebody who brings that to the table is extremely valuable. But at the same time, what do you lack? In my case, I lack experience. So what do I find? I find people who have larger experience, greater experience in the field of interest. जैसे मेरे को हेल्थ केयर में इंटरेस्ट है, so I look for people. So how do you find partners? You go to conferences and meetings. That's the only way to find people. जैसे हम यहाँ हैं तो हम नेटवर्क कर रहे हैं, वी आर मीटिंग पीपल, वी आर क्रिएटिंग रिलेशनशिप्स. उसमें से ही कोई रिलेशनशिप जेल होता है, यू गो अहेड. दैट्स व्हाट आई डिड while doing my engineering or MBA. भैया ने एक्चुअली सिखाया मेरे को to go to meetings and conferences and find people and network, and that's the way to go. You automatically find the right people.
Thank you. I think यहाँ पर, yeah, you and then Ankita ji. Yeah.
Yes. Hello, Amit ji. Jai Jendra. This is Samyak Bhattacharya. First of all, I'm extremely grateful to know your story.
My question is, can you please tell in more detail the little trajectory of your life, like which engineering branch you were in, and how did you like choose doing international business degree in US, and like how did you manage your finances during that time? Because you said like you needed 6 years to build this product. So could you please elaborate about that?
Sure. Pete High School, Marathi medium, and then Pune Engineering College. I did my engineering, mechanical engineering. And then I always wanted to go to America, follow the footsteps of my cousins, and really do something. America is the, they call it the land of opportunity. So that was there. And then wanted to do MBA. So MBA में काफी सारे finance, marketing, there are several fields. But then you look at what is interesting for you. For me, it was international business. So started looking at international business, and that's where I completed my education. Second part of your question, how did we manage our finances? That's why I said frugality is the key. When you are building your business, when you are in the prototype and early phase, nothing else is more critical than focus. When you have focus, you don't really look beyond, right? You focus on the one thing that is going to differentiate you and invest all your resources in that. फिर आप कौन सी गाड़ी चला रहे हैं, या कौन सा घर है, या कौन सा ऑफिस है, या ऑफिस में 100 स्क्वायर फीट का है और आपको बाहर मीटिंग करना पड़ रहा है, does not matter. The only thing that matters is you are putting all your resources in that one product, one technology that you think can be a game changer. So automatically the resources, and then you keep looking for people, like-minded people who will back you, invest in you.
We'll take last two questions and then we'll conclude. Ankita ji and then ma'am, you. Yeah.
गुड आफ्टरनून, सोनल दगड़े। जैसे कि बोलते हैं 1 मिनट कैन नॉट चेंज योर लाइफ बट डिसीजन टेकन इन 1 मिनट कैन चेंज योर लाइफ। तो मैं वही आपसे जानना चाहती हूँ कि वो ऐसा टर्निंग पॉइंट, वो मोमेंट क्या रहा जो आपके लाइफ को पूरी तरह से टर्न हो गया?
गुड क्वेश्चन। भारत में आना, दैट वाज द गेम चेंजर फॉर मी। जब मेरी बात हुई हमारे चेयरमैन सीईओ मेरे मेंटोर मिस्टर लू से, उन्होंने एक चीज सिखाई। ही सेड timing is everything in life. Without timing, even if you have a greatest possible solution, it does not matter. For me, that timing was coming back to India, and that too in Nasik. I was very clear कि Nasik ही आना है, and that I think that decision, it was a simple decision, but yes, it was.
The last question.
Jai Janein, my name is Ankita Parak. Amit bhaiya, definitely a very inspiring story. India healthcare industry is highly getting consolidated. We see, on the manufacturing side is a separate ball game, but on the health people in the healthcare business running hospitals, that consolidation is strongly coming in. So my questions, I have two parts to it. Particularly for your technology, how are you planning to increase your footprint in the country? And what kind of pricing strategies will you adapt? Because currently all your products are being globally manufactured. And one basic mindset that we have, people who are rich, they want to fly to US. But now we see a massive, reverse trend coming in. A lot of people like medical tourism, what we call in. Several billions of dollars come into the country because of medical tourism. But for specifically, increasing the footprint of your product, what are the strategies you'll be adapting in India?
Very good question. India is actually, see, India is an emerging market. When you are looking at India for any upcoming new technology, honestly, it's not on the radar. Unfortunately, India is at a back burner. The reason being, we have population, but we don't have resources to back up the population. And that's where I see there is a huge opportunity. In 2006, there were 4% of people, patients, that were insured. Today, that percentage is 30%. You running the hospital, Ashoka, one of the largest in Nasik, and Dr. Chopra with Magnum, you guys know how important that insurance population has now become. The growth is in healthcare where there is an ability to pay for the technology. And any technology that takes several years, hundreds of millions of dollars of technological R&D is never going to be a non-premium device. So yes, we are looking at India as a manufacturing hub, that's for sure, not necessarily an area where we'll be able to support our customer base, our patients. But obviously, India being the largest population in the world, largest market in the world, has its own advantages and will definitely be here sooner rather than later. And with Cordis coming in, I'm sure they'll get us the scale that we need to get to countries like India.
That I think we are ready to conclude. Subodh bhai? Yeah. So thank you everyone. Thanks for the opportunity. Let's give him a big round of applause. Thank you.
थैंक यू 2 मिनट अमित भाई अजय भाई प्लीज प्लीज स्टेज पे रुकना है आपने प्लीज रिमूव चेयर्स एंड टीपॉय जिस तरीके से ये सेशन शुरू हुआ और सेशन शुरू होने से अभी तक इस हॉल के बाहर कोई भी नहीं गया है यही सब कुछ बताता है कि इस प्रोग्राम की वैल्यू क्या है इसके इनसाइट्स जिन लोगों ने के मतलब बहुत सारी बातें अमित जी ने बताई जो मतलब सुन के ऐसा लगा कि ये बोलते रहेंगे हम सुनते रहेंगे और ये सेशन खत्म ही ना हो बट अपनी समय की अपनी मर्यादा है और बहुत अच्छे से इस प्रोग्राम को कंडक्ट किया है हमारे मॉडरेटर अजय जी बोहरा जी ने आपने कई बार देखा है कि हलवा हमने देखा है हम लोग मीठा खाते हैं हलवा उसको डेकोरेट करने के लिए उसके ऊपर ड्राई फ्रूट्स वगैरह बहुत सारी चीजें लगाते हैं बट ओरिजिनल जो टेस्ट आता है ना उसका वो होती है शुगर वो दिखती नहीं है हमको वो शुगर दिखती नहीं है उसी की वजह से मिठास होती है और मैं ये प्राउडली कहना चाहूंगा कि हमारे सभी कार्यक्रम को ऊंचे दर्जे का करने का काम और बिना किसी प्रकार का हो अल्लाह करते हुए करने का काम हमारे अजय जी बोरा करते हैं वो शुगर का काम करते हैं वो कहीं दिखाई नहीं देंगे मगर उनका इनपुट जरूर रहेगा और उसके बिना वो कार्यक्रम का ग्रेस उस कार्यक्रम की जो ऊंचाई है वो हम पा नहीं सकते हम बहुत लकी है अजय जी हमारे मतलब मेंटोर है हमें हर टाइम पे गाइड करते हैं और इस कार्यक्रम के जिस तरीके से जो सिंपल तरीके से उन्होंने क्वेश्चन आंसर सेशन किया है ताकि छोटे से छोटा मतलब ये जो बालक बैठा है यहाँ पे उसने भी सवाल किया तो मैं समझता हूँ कि इस कार्यक्रम को सही तरीके से जीतो नासिक द्वारा ना केवल नासिक के लोगों के लिए बट नेशनल लेवल पे हमारे मेंटर सर सतीश जी पारक ने बताया कि इसका लाभ सबको मिलना चाहिए हम लोग उस तक पहुंचने में सफल हुए ये मुझे लग रहा है अब इसके बाद मैं बुलाना चाहूंगा हमारे यूथ के डायनामिक सेक्रेटरी सौरभ जी पारक मैं उन्हें बुलाऊंगा वो इस कार्यक्रम के अंदर जिन जिन महानुभावों ने मदद की हमें उनका वोट ऑफ थैंक्स करेंगे अंत में अमित जी और अजय जी का फेलिसिटेशन के लिए मैं बोर्ड पे बुलाऊंगा सभी डिग्नेटरीज को और उसके बाद नेशनल एंथम होगा तब तक कोई भी कृपया बाहर जाने का प्रयास न करे प्लीज धन्यवाद
Jai Janendra. Firstly, Amit ji, I am really inspired from today's session. I am sure youth like me, here and online, have very much benefited from the session. On behalf of Jito Nasik, I really thank you. Coming ahead, Ajay Uncle, you have really taken out many key takeaways which will guide everybody. We thank you for bringing out the all our possible doubts. I would also like to thank Jito Apex past Secretary General Satish Uncle Parak, current Jito Apex Secretary Sanjay Uncle Loda, Jito Apex Director Satish Uncle Hiran, past President Apex Jito Ladies Wing Sunita Auntie for being present here. We also had virtually present with us JPF Apex Chief Chairman Harji Surana. I would also like to thank all the dignitaries present here and the ambitious audience with their possible questions and doubt for making this session a very wonderful one. I would like to thank Pritesh Uncle and Sashank Pahade Uncle for choosing this venue and the menu which is set up ahead. I would also like to thank the core production team for setting up all the cameras, LED walls. So I would like to thank you all. Thank you.
धन्यवाद सौरव सौरव ने भी बहुत मेहनत की है इस कार्यक्रम के अंदर उसका भी बहुत बड़ा धन्यवाद बनता है वो हमेशा अवेलेबल रहता है, सब में अच्छी चीज क्या, वो कोई काम के लिए मना नहीं करता है। लेडीज विंग का प्रोग्राम हो, यूथ विंग का हो, कहीं पे भी वो ऐसा है, शक्कर जैसा है, हर चीज में मिठास बढ़ा देता है। बिल्कुल। तो मैं अभी आज के हमारे उत्सव मूर्ति अमित जी बोहरा, इनको वैसे तो जीतों में कोई ऐसी मतलब प्रथा नहीं है किसी को फेलिसिटेट करना, किसी का मतलब शाल श्रीफल वगैरह जो होता है ना अन्य इसमें, बट फिर भी जो फिलोसॉफी लेके वो चल रहे हैं, उसके ऊपर एक आधारित एक बुक हम लोग उनको प्रेजेंट करना चाह रहे हैं। और सभी डिग्नेटरीज जीतो के अपेक्स के डायरेक्टर सतीश जी हिरन, सतीश जी पारक पास सेक्रेटरी जनरल, संजय जी हमारे ट्रेजरर, मैं सभी का नाम लूंगा, कृपया स्टेज पर आइए। और अमित भाई, अजय भाई स्टेज पर आइए। हम लोग आपको एक टोकन ऑफ लव के रूप में एक बुक आपको प्रेजेंट करना चाह रहे हैं, प्लीज प्लीज। सो संदीप जी लुंकड़, अतुल भाऊ, पंकज जी, देन मे भी मैं किसी का नाम भूल जाऊं तो माफ कर देना मुझे, मिच्छा में दुक्कड़म एडवांस में, अभी तो परमिशन बाकी है। फिर भी सुनीता जी बोरा, दक्षा जी आप भी हैं। उसके बाद में चेयरपर्सन लेडीज विंग की हमारी कल्पना जी पटनी, जेबीएम के हमारे सेक्रेटरी कमलेश जी कोठारी, हमारे हमेशा बिजनेस के पीछे पड़ने वाले हमारे समीर जी कोठारी, जिनके दिमाग में हमेशा रेफरल मीटिंग की बात रहती है, निखिल जी साबरा। अब इसके पहले था जेबीएन रेफरल ओरिएंटेशन के बारे में, तो उस समय एक सीए मित्र जो हमारा पूछा कि हमारा सीए लोगों को इसका benefit है, ये मीटिंग्स में क्या मिलता है। मुझे लगता है कि उनको उसका जवाब मिल गया जी की बातों से, मिलते जुलते रहने से क्या होता है उसका जवाब उनको मिल गया होगा। और भी जिनका नाम प्रेसिडेंट शांतिलाल जी, शांतिलाल जी बाफना, वरदान जी लुंकड़, मैं किसी का नाम लेना ऐसा नहीं कि मैं लेना नहीं चाह रहा, भूल सकता हूँ, इंसान हूँ, गलती करना इंसानी फितरत है। कमलेश जी पोकरना, मनोज जी चोपड़ा, यस आई फॉरगॉट हिम, कमलेश जी पोकरना, यस सर प्लीज। लॉ नासिक चैप्टर की तरफ से इतनी बड़ी हस्ती हमारे बीच में, उनको हम लोग टोकन ऑफ लॉ देके
या बाबू
नेशनल एंथम के लिए खड़े रह जाइए प्लीज। लाइव ए ला
जनगण पंजाब सिंध जल जलधि तव शुभ कर्म शुभ शिक्षण जन जय 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 जय
भारत माता की जय। थैंक यू, थैंक यू, थैंक यू, बिग थैंक यू। नहीं ना, मैं बोला ना सही। हाँ? कौन? हाँ